I want to welcome you to No Nonsense Nonprofits. Hi, I'm Sandy Ray, founder of Sandra E. Ray CPA, where we alleviate financial headaches so that you can create a bigger impact. Today, we're going to talk to you about customized reports going beyond the standard reports in QuickBooks Online. So the standard reports in QuickBooks are great, but if you've ever thought, I wish I had another column here, or I need to present this data a little bit differently, then you're in the right place, because that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to unlock how you move beyond the standard reports, build customized reports that are meaningful, actionable, and tailored to your organization's unique needs. Just to get started, we want to think about what kind of reports that we want. Every organization has different stakeholders. We have our management team, we have our program managers, we have our accountants, we have our board members. All of these people need different reports. The standard reports are great for many things, but often they don't tell the full story, or they don't drill down enough in enough detail that we need for different reports. So by the end of today's session, and it's going to go by very quickly, I'm talking fast, we're going to give you the how-tos on creating a customized report with filters and formats and additional fields. We're going to export and add calculations not supported by QuickBooks. And then we're going to save and schedule reports so that you can improve your consistency. And then finally, we're going to build a polished board-ready report package. So let's go right into QuickBooks. I'm going to share my screen. We're using QuickBooks's sample company. Again, I just want to say Craig's Design and Landscaping Services is not a not-for-profit. So there's a few things here, but I wanted to share information with you on how to do things, and we can use this as a great example. So we open up QuickBooks. We're going to go to reports, and the best place to start for any customized report is a standard report. Start with a standard report that most matches the information that you want, and then we can customize from there. So let's say we want a profit and loss for a financial overview. Now, ways to customize this is looking through the dates and making changes. So maybe we want this year, but we want it as of last month. Okay. And then we want to go through all of these areas, and I want to show you how you can customize this report. On the display button here, this is where our columns are. So we can select columns by customer, employee, product service code, transaction date, vendor. Under transaction date, we can do things by months. This is a great diagnostic tool that I like to use when looking at, have we recorded anything? Are we missing anything? Does just anything jump out that looks weird from month to month? I'm going to run this report based on customer, because I'm going to gear this talk today based on grant reports. And as we're recommending that you create each grant as a customer, now you can go in here and you can see if these were grants. You can see we're getting our income and our expenses. I'm just going to lapse these down. Our income and expenses by grant. So you're seeing how each grant is doing. Amy's Bird Sanctuary is a grant. So the next thing that you can do is you can put in, if we want to do grants, we're probably going to want to filter on a single customer. So let's pick Amy's Bird Sanctuary. You can pick multiple ones. Let's say Amy's Bird Sanctuary and Bill's Windsor Shop. They're related grants. So we're just going to click here outside of there, and you can see we're only picking up those two. Maybe you want to do some comparisons to previous year, and you want to show the dollar change and the percentage change from last year. So you can see here that Amy's Bird Sanctuary, we have no information for last year, and same for Bill's Windsurf Shop. But if there was information here, you would see the dollar change and the percentage change here. So I'm going to take this comparison out, and you can see there's prior period, year to date, previous year to date, custom period, and then the calculations are the percentage of the row, percentage of the column, percentage of expense, percentage of income that you can add to these. So we've done the filters, we've done the compare. The other thing I want to show you is general options. You can do things like don't show zero amounts. You can divide by 1,000. You can round. You can show negative numbers in red. Of course, we have none here. You can select for rows and columns to not show zeros, only active rows and columns, or you can choose to select all rows and columns. That's up to you. I like when I'm designing a report for presentation purposes, I like the non-zero. For headers, you can put your company logo on here. You can put the grant period or the report period is on here, or you can take it off. The company name you can take off. So there's all kinds of things you can do in the header right here. You can change the alignment. You can create a footer, date prepared, time prepared, cash basis or accrual. Maybe you want to change the alignment of that so that it moves over here. And you can edit your section titles. So maybe you don't want income, you want revenue. And maybe you don't want cost of goods sold, you want direct cost. And maybe you want gross margin instead of gross profit, and so on. This is really great for the net asset section. You can change all those equity titles to net assets. Another way to edit is right here. There's a little pencil right here. You can edit the report name, profit and loss, Amy and Bill Grant. So that changes the name of the report. We can do some things like we can add a note. This is unaudited, audited, or maybe you want to have an explanation. Cash received in July and budgeted for June. Something like that you can do, and you can add to the report. You can email this report, you can schedule this report, or you can add it to one of your management reports. And we're going to go over management reports in a little bit, and we're going to go over scheduling it a little bit as well. So then you're going to save this report as, and I'm going to get rid of the word copy. You can decide if this report is only going to be visible to you or if you're going to share it with others. And you can pick a report group. Right now we don't have any, so let's add one. The report group is going to be grants reports, and we can save it. Now, when we go back to our reporting section, we can go to customize reports, and we're going to see that we have a report group called grant reports, and profit and loss for Amy and Bill Grant is right here in that area. Say we no longer need this grant report, easily we can delete that. The down arrow here, we can create a schedule. If we want to schedule this report to automatically go out, schedule and send this report. And we're going to start today at 9 a.m. We're going to repeat it every month until the end of the calendar year or never. And then you can decide who this is going to. Monthly grant report. Please review and get back to me. And then you can save. But since this is a demo, it's not letting me actually save it. The other thing you can do from here is you can change the group. You could create a new group and put it in a new group. Basically works the same way. Or you could add to management reports, and we can add to an existing management report that's in here already, Let's just call it company overview. And we're going to call this the grant report. So that is a really simple way to create a report. Now, I want you to be careful that if you have too many filters, you may end up with a blank report or some misleading information. So I'll always double check what's excluded from your report. If QuickBooks does not support a calculated field or something that you want, you can create the report. You can export it to Excel, and then you can add those items that you wanted. Say we wanted, this report is January through June, but say we want a column with our annual budget with comparison information. We can always just add that budget in here, do that calculation, percent remaining, that kind of thing. And we can create the report in Excel by just exporting it that way. You could also create charts and graphs in Excel. So those are some really cool things that you can do in Excel, and it's really quick to create that Excel spreadsheet. Now, one thing that you may want to do is if we're going to do this, maybe you have a template that already has this information in there. And what you're going to do is you're going to, let's say we downloaded it. We're going to call this one the download name. We're going to call this one the download. So we just downloaded our report here. And then we're going to have our template with our annual budget numbers, that kind of thing going down here. But we're going to pull, I'm going to put the plus here. We're going to pull that number from the template, and we're going to do that for every cell here. And as you can see, what we're going to end up doing is the ability to copy and paste every month what's going on here. And we can even make this pull from over here. And that all we have to do is copy and paste the report into here. It generates the report. One thing we're going to want to make sure that we do, though, is we're going to want to check some key information. We're going to want to make sure that the net income on the download matches the template. I like to do my little arrow checks if it's with a formula that always shows up to 0. That way I know maybe we added an account, we have a new account, or we added a grant. We need to update our template if these aren't 0. So that's a cool thing to do too. And I like to do that a lot for when we're customizing reports for different clients. So once you have everything the way you want it, we're going to save it. You're going to name it what you want, and you can set up your automated schedules that we talked about. Then you can do the automated things you can do. You can just send out, maybe you want to send out your cash flow every week to your executive director. Maybe you want to automatically send to the treasurer every quarter the executive director's expense reimbursements and credit card transactions. Maybe you want to email your grant manager the grant transactions for the week so that they can review it for compliance. The last thing I want to talk to you about are the management reports. So we're going to go back to reporting, and we're going to click on management reports. Now, our grant report shows up here, but I want to do this company overview report. This is a great way to get those polished reports. You've got a cover sheet here. You can change the themes. You can add your logo. You can change the name. It pulls in the company name automatically and the period date based on what you're doing, the prepared date, prepared by, for management use only for those accountants out there. The next page is the table of contents. It will show what's in there. If you want some preliminary pages in there, maybe you want to say that this is unaudited or something, or you can tell it not to view that report. Then the next page is the reports that we're pulling in. And we want to add, let's add that grant report. Amy and Bill grant report. And we want to be consistent. We'll say this year so that we're consistent with all of the other reports that we're doing today. And that's added that report to this package. And then if you want some end notes, say I've got a client who wants to see, we put in a little table as far as program expenses are 80%, G 10%, and fundraising were 10%. And I'm just pulling these out of the air. So that's going to be our end note. I'm going to save this, save report as company overview 1. And then I can preview the report. So this is what the report is going to look like. Let me start at page 1. So you can see our cover page. You can see our table of contents. You can see our profit and loss that we asked for, our balance sheet. And again, we can change those names. We have our grant report, and then we have our notes. And then you can save as a PDF or print this. So I know I've gone long today, but that's a very quick overview of reports. To wrap up, I want to say when you're looking at these reports, start with the one that most matches the information that you want to get. So start with a standard report, a profit and loss, a balance sheet, a transactional report, customize with filters and dimensions, export the information into Excel if there's calculated fields that you want that are unique to your organization, and use the management reports for high-level presentations. Customizing gives you the flexibility and the control to turn your raw data into powerful insights, including graphs and other types of presentations. And it helps you to answer those tough board questions or plan your next quarter's budget. Your reports should work for you. So take a little time to set these up. And then, as you can see, they can automate it. And then, for example, you get one grant report. All you have to do is copy it, change the customer, and you've got another grant report. Really easy peasy to do. So I hope this was helpful for you today. And if you have any questions on this or other topics, please let us know in the comments section below. Of course, we always appreciate your likes. I want to thank you for joining me today. And remember that creating a bigger impact starts with stopping the nonsense. If you're dealing with nonsense in your nonprofit organization, we'd love to help you cut through the noise.